not taught it. Got a whole, I mean, it's like this, it's like, yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. So pretty basic, you can go that. So it needs to be a five foot sheet. Yeah. We're like, yeah, I've noticed that with some people in the store and just I
Yeah.
would say it looks awkward. Yeah, it's like putting it through it. Yeah, it's just.
So these are their photos or your photos of what they're doing.
Make it a little more difficult.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what? It's a little bit of a hurdle. I know.
So these are the photos from that class.
So this is just I got their worksheets up. And some of them are excited and focused and are, so if you try to figure it out, some of them,
Not so much.
they have an alphabet, italic alphabet, and then I did a little zine, you know, the little booklet you can make out of a piece of paper. I did just a really brief history of writing. I love that. I made them each a folder with their name, and when I did those, I wrote all their names to give them some kind of, you know, look at. This is what you're shooting for. And so they each got a folder. And, yeah. So today we did a rotation. I was able to have some one-on-one with 4 of them at a time. Group. So it was just for an hour and a half. But I think they're enjoying it. Congratulations. Yeah. Well, thanks for the PR.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the November Calligraphy Guild meeting, and you heard Beth, and we have, if we got any notes for the secretary's last meeting?
Just a second.
Yes.
Beth passed the, yeah, Peggy.
Oh, okay. Good luck.
Peggy wasn't here. Yeah, we weren't otherwise occupied.
Well, I was out to.
John, you want to stand where we can actually get you in on the screen?
John,
No.
so just lay it out for people to read. Yay! Just put it out for people to read. Yes, I'll just lay it right here. Yes. Wonderful. It's my friend Nancy. Yes, you're welcome. Where you were thinking grammar.
Okay, we have
You
visitors.
got some,
Okay, you want to introduce yourself? Taylor?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm Taylor. This is Taylor Avery, and she was actually in my store earlier today, but she was already planning to come.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, try to keep up with their meetings, and if you have questions, and after you've been a guild member for what, a few months, you have access to a calligraphy library that is really, really good. And I have not gone through all the books, but some of it's repeat, and you've got different authors, different calligraphers, untold number of hundreds of different styles, variations of pen manipulation and how to letter, do things. And we've got a few folks here in the guild that are extremely talented in doing that, and they can show a whole lot that I can't begin to get into it because I've watched these people work, and it amazes me that you can go and look online and look at other calligraphers and what they do. We've got the same thing right here. And the thing is, most people don't know about it because they don't think that much about calligraphers. They just see fonts and lettering, and they think it's computer generated. It is not. It's done right there with these two little thumb and finger holding various pens.
And Taylor's planning to join, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, birthdays, and I left my list at home. Stephanie's got a birthday in a few days. And so is Keith, and who hasn't got a birthday?
November birthday.
You got a birthday? Yes, awesome. Yeah, okay, one. Yeah, you'll be 19 again.
Uh-huh.
Right. Well, did y'all settle last meeting, did everything work out so that we have a first vice president volunteer? Or did y'all vote on it?
No, somebody, the subject was raised. And, she's looking for a replacement, but has anybody let you know?
No,
Okay, so we're still at a first VP, Gavin is second. Peggy will be secretary and the treasurer will stay the same with Navy Shaw. Do we have anything? Okay, you kind of got
We have a corresponding secretary,
Yeah.
Audrey.
yeah, Audrey,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we got a card. Absolutely beautiful calligraphy inside. Really nice.
Some Audrey.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, she sent me a beautiful birthday card.
but she forgot to put her name on the back card.
I love what seeing those lines. She doesn't sign mine either.
no, she didn't. You just get this beautiful card.
I would never was.
Yeah, and wow, and whenever you see it came from the Memphis Calligraphy, then you know that Audrey did it.
Yeah,
And so.
why do cards come?
Why did they come?
And around your birthday, if you have a
Send it to
family
me.
member that died or you're sick, special card, because we sent one to Maggie and don't know if she's got it yet or not. And, okay, any new business?
I enjoy going to the too.
Okay, how many, I know Beth and Norma and I and Peggy and Keith and think you were out there. How did you like?
Oh, it was outstanding.
Throughout the
And I would also like to say that Amy was so kind to us and she was so generous to us. But the generous person was John, who gave her a piece of original calligraphy framed that was in the show. He gave it to her and she cried and hugged him. She was grateful.
You didn't have to say that.
Yeah, oh, that's great, John.
That in itself was worth giving it to her. It's a big expression. And you can go and buy a piece and pay for it, and the person has a certain expression on their face, so, hey, I bought it. This one was totally original, different, surprise, and I thought that was worth more than what I was doing at home for.
She had admired it though, so it wasn't just that you sort of picked one. She liked it.
She liked the quote, it's one of her favorite quotes. And that was one reason I gave it to her, because she will probably remember that one in the American Guild
Yeah.
and doing things. And also, someone had mentioned talking about Prismacolor pencils. And they said, what can you do with it? And different things, just put it on paper and different things. And I said, well, you can melt it into cloth. And you have no idea. How many has ever seen that done? All right, this is done in 1960 Scotland.
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you do that?
Melted Prismacolor on fabric.
Wow.
Okay, so how do you melt it?
Turpentine or Marshall's photo foils has a solvent, and that goes on paper or whatever you're doing when you're doing the coloring photos. And that will do the same thing. It doesn't smell near as bad. And then you can use, I didn't try number of spirits. It doesn't work quite as well, but
You put it on the fabric before
yeah. You
Start coloring?
So, yeah, you wet the fabric and then start putting your pencils direct on it, and you have to be, it's kind of like watercolor. When you put it down, you can't undo what you do. Right. So it's all done first time, first touch.
That
Do
is
you
so beautiful.
use the sticks or the pencils?
Pencil?
Prismacolor sticks, you know, they come in that.
Yeah, well,
chocolate.
most of the pencils I have still have eagle on it when it was, y'all actually had eagle on it when it was eagle Prismacolor.
Yeah,
And those pencils originated from the sixties.
What did you say besides turpentine?
Well, you got,
Is it Glamazol? Isn't that another one that does it?
mhm.
It doesn't smell bad.
I've never had it. I don't know.
So do you like turpentine, just a piece of it and deal with that on another piece?
Yeah. And one thing I found out about this is the paper backing is not acid free. So it's beginning to show through, and where I had very light colors of the blue and white, it weren't real thick. And back when that was done, the backing was white. So trying to put the light colors in it, I may have missed a spot or two. And
So did you do this piece, Charles?
Yep.
Holy.
back in what year?
1967.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, when y'all were little kids.
So
Graduated high school in 65.
did you do, how many did you do?
I've only done that one.
That was enough.
The reason I didn't do it anymore is where I worked for the city of Memphis, the city engineer found out that there were two people in his division that were artists. Halfway from me, one of my friends named Calvin Hicks, he passed away a few years ago, was much better. He did line drawings, pen and ink for Howard Miller clocks, be advertised in the commercial and press center. But he did a lot of the line drawings. He also, how many of you remember Tennessee Pride, the little farm boy?
Mhm.
He did all the sales for that.
Hmm.
So he did commercial art, lettering, things like that. And they found out I could do likewise, so I got triggered into providing a lot of drawings for the city engineer, and it just turned me against it. And
Can you show it to the camera?
yeah,
Oh,
When
Maggie.
we get up that way, yeah,
Okay.
where's the camera? Right in the center.
right in the center of
So
the,
basically your art turned into work. It's really,
Yeah, yeah.
I did that for photography.
Whenever you have to do it and you're pressured to do stuff that you don't want to do, you just push it away and you don't go back to it. And they found out that we can also do calligraphy. And you go back in 1965, 66, 67, City Beautiful Commission had scrapbooks, everything in it. The only thing that could be original was photographs, tabs, and the outside cover. Everything else in it was done by hand. And lettered, composition, any artwork was done with gouache, watercolor. We didn't use acrylic back then, all and it just took a toll because you were forced to do something that you liked.
Be
Or you didn't
creative
like.
now.
And you're creative, wanting to be creative, that was taken away. You weren't given that opportunity. You were handed something to do. And you went away. But calligraphy did not. And over the course of several years, it got to the point that one afternoon, a lady came in from the CAO's office and said, I want 25 name tag plates.
Oh,
for
no.
I looked at her and I handed it back to her and I said, no. She says, you're gonna get fired. I said, try her. I already had my 25 in, and I said, if they ask me to leave out,
They couldn't spare you, I'm sure.
no, she went downstairs and she didn't speak to me for 2 weeks.
I'm sure that's a great loss.
yeah, it's over here.
Oh.
Well,
John did that, Maggie.
Very nice.
Oh,
that's okay.
well, I'm trying to get it centered.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you. Very nice.
Okay. So you can do that with Prismacolor pencils.
Do yourself a favor and replace the S in the background on it. Okay. Yeah.
No, this is glued to
It's
that
glued
paper.
to it.
What this was a piece of stock. In the old days, you had paper back cloth
Mhm.
and you drew or painted on it directly.
Ah,
Yeah, and it was temporary. And this became permanent. The written on the back of the shovel area today, which is taken from page gold. And the lady in the white shorts was my future wife and her best friend. Yeah. Well, that was done, so let's take it back, I was already married one other couple of years when I did that, so it was putting her back into 1963. So see, before AI was around, I had superimposed two pieces of glass before their time, because the photograph was actually taken in 1963. And that's the other 67. Anyway, do we got any other things we want to discuss? Who got here?
Christmas party?
Oh, Christmas
Christmas
party.
party?
Christmas party at
At
Norman's
Memphis?
Club.
Yeah, so that will be, the first Saturday is like December 1st or something
See,
really.
December
I think
first
December
is
first is the same
Sunday,
day.
December second is Monday.
So it'll be
So
December
the-
2nd, so.
Eighth? No, the seventh. Would be the
First
first Saturday.
Would it? It's not the second.
Which day are we having it?
Saturday.
It'd be the first Monday, what, would it be the meeting night? Or would it be a Saturday?
Hey, you're doing this.
But I was,
Oh,
I had it on
second
my calendar as the
okay.
first Monday,
Okay,
but,
second is on the Monday night.
if we decided we don't wanna drive in the dark, my house is way out to Thunder out at North Bartlett.
Y'all want to do it on Saturday in the daytime?
I can do it, I can do it the first Saturday of December, but the second Saturday of December, there's another party that's gonna be out there, Christmas party, so.
So what's the
Are
date?
you gonna have party
The seventh?
Seventh.
So it'd be the seventh.
Saturday the seventh? Okay,
Better write
you
that.
got that on your calendar, Maggie?
At what time?
Well, let's talk about whether anybody wants to drive in the dark. Do y'all? Can
It's
everybody?
dark early now.
Yeah,
We've always had it in the.
We did it, we did it once.
Your house.
Yeah, and we did it down at Sandra Hudson's in the daytime. So, I mean, if you guys wanna do it,
Not easy to find her house at night.
no, it's not. I got lost a lot of times when I first moved out there.
easier to leave than it is to get there.
Doesn't matter to me, afternoon's fine, on that Saturday is fine.
afternoon,
So
So like 2 to 4?
okay, so like, is it December the, what is it, seventh?
Seven.
Seven. Call it 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock,
2 to 4.
2 to 4. Okay, all right. And if you would bring a sweet or savory, and a gift if you want to exchange. Is that what y'all been doing?
Yes.
I missed the last one, the last several. So if you want to exchange a gift, calligraphy oriented, then you want to, but don't feel that you have to. Isn't that the way we used to do it?
Yes, it's
Right.
optional.
Because it always works out.
Yeah.
Okay, don't we usually put a limit? A price limit?
Usually a monetary thing, and don't like no more than $15.
Yeah.
Okay, so $15 gift.
But it could be like a.
Right, that's right, that's why. Yeah.
Can't for watercolor or anything.
Anything related.
Yeah, it can be a set of pens or papers or,
Pad.
if John wants to give me that piece, art piece.
Yeah,
So let me give you my address and you can put it in your GPS.
Okay.
So it's 5060 5060 Hatch, Hatch Lane, It's Bartlett, Tennessee, 38002. And yes, I know that's an Arlington zip code, but we used to be in Arlington and Bartlett took us in, so.
What was the street name again?
Hatch Lane, Hatch Lane, and if you know where, Shadowlawn School is, way out there in North Bartlett, y'all know where Shadowlawn and Ellendale Post Office and all that. It's 2 miles north of the Ellendale Post Office, but,
What's your cross street in theirs?
Old Brownsville,
Old
so
Brownsville.
Old Browns, but there's 3 Old Brownsvilles, if you, the Old Brownsville, that's very confusing. So if you go up Germantown Road, if you go straight, what?
You curve, yeah, up Germantown Road, you curve,
Yeah,
and it dead ends into
Well, everybody's got GPS.
Brownsville.
yeah, if you go up Germantown Road, Germantown turns into a cow path. It
Mhm.
goes through Pleasantville,
Oh.
it goes all, and, it goes all the way up to 70 and even further and so on. But once you get to the end of Germantown, where there's a railroad track and 2 big cylinders, like
Gas tank.
silos,
Yeah,
you make a left and it's like 3 miles down on the right. So actually Germantown Road probably it's a nice L. Not the way I drive, but I mean, I have my shortcuts,
oh, okay.
but,
So if we put your address in with the zip code, will it get us there?
yes,
It will.
and if you call me as you're coming cursing, trying to find it,
What's your number?
901-335-5085. It's in the book. It's in the address book.
Is there address on that?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
So you go up, if I go all the way up Germantown Road, what do I do then?
If you go up Germantown Road, it dead ends at Old Brownsville. If you turn left over the railroad track and go about 3 miles down, on the right is Hatch Lane. On the left is Shadowlawn, where there used to be Shadowlawn Middle School, but now it's Bartlett Middle School or some academy or some such thing.
And you turn right and go down the road a little bit, and then there's an outstanding mailbox, and you turn in just past that into the driveway and drive down and park in the middle of the driveway or in a yard or.
Sorry. The driveway's long, it's 300 feet. I have to walk the garbage can down it every time, so I know how many feet it is.
Well, you get exercise.
Yeah, I do, I get my steps.
You're heading out your mail every day.
So I'm looking forward to that.
I'd be tempted to get a motorized cart to haul my mail or my garbage can out.
So anyway,
Any other business? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
So this is instead,
Second.
this is instead of, correct.
Yeah. So.
yeah. So that December, we won't have a meeting. We'll do the party.
Party, yeah.
We used to have it at Pat's house.
Party time.
Second to the motion.
Okay, and Peggy has got our program tonight, and I will let her explain everything and get out of her way.
Did everybody get the handouts that were emailed?
Here's some handouts in the back.
I got some.
Thank you, because I wasn't even.
I didn't open mine, I guess. I didn't get it, so.
And if anybody's got any books to return to the library, I'm collecting.
So, what if you put white chalk on this area you want to pick up the Batman color? Would that help preserve it? Paul?
Here's what, from the library, I found out there's a white powder called White House. And I've got a 1899 map at home, and they preserved that,
Mm-hmm.
and it has an age, and they did that. And it's on the same type of paper cloth back. But it's been handled and rolled, and it's actually falling apart. And they went to an 1890 map and rolled it. And they people up the journey, like if there's a mile off, look it up, it's not. And last time I saw it, it was considerably late.
Yeah.
But I told the guys, don't do it, and they know. So, well, we don't like that early stuff on it.
All righty.
Where was it? It's been sitting, has it been hanging where life has not time ago? So it's survived pretty well.
Yeah. Are we ready?
Those maps were rolled up and one of my friends retrieved them from the dog. It was ended up being thrown away and he got several of them, and one of them was a 1988 map.
So history in many.
You ready?
Yeah.
We're ready. Okay, this all started when Maggie Sherrard and I got to talking, and we recognized and we said to each other that our handwriting wasn't what it used to be. And I got to thinking about it, and my class in cursive was 70 years ago. And I don't remember the exemplars. I mean, I can still see the green strips, but I can't see the letters anymore. Yeah, it just kind of faded. So we've been working on italic, and well, we get into that. But right now, what I would like you to do in your normal, everyday hand, at the speed that you normally do it, at the size that you normally do it, write the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. All lowercase letters, no caps, please. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now, you have to look at your own handwriting and decide, is it good enough that I want to go back and work on it, or do I want to chuck it and start with something else? Keith and I have a very dear friend. She was an ER doc. Her handwriting is very individual. It's readable, but it takes both of us to read it, to decipher. So, I mean, if you are to that point where you're having trouble, then you need to throw it out. And if so, on the handout, I've listed several that you can use: copperplate, Spencerian, italic, Palmer method, the Danielian, the Sander-Blauser method. And if you're not familiar with them, look them up on Google. They're there. And I want to show you two real quick ones before we go on. And if you want to play with them today, or if you want to work on yours, you can. The first one is the italic cursive. George, how do we get
Oh, sorry.
this?
I had it ready to go and
Okay.
let's go. There we go.
All right.
Oh.
I was going through my library and I came across this book, The Italic Way to Beautiful Handwriting, Cursive and Calligraphic by Fred Eager, and I saw cursive, and that drew my attention. So I have copied and given you his exemplar and then how to do the cursive. And we're going to talk about how to do the cursive. We all know how to do the basic italic. We spent all year on it with Reggie and that. So general rules. Not every letter needs to be joined to its neighbors. And this is true when you're doing this italic. But I found that I was joining letters more often than I was not. And he said, what's the other one? Joined no more than 3. He thought, let's see, the average number of connected letters that can be easily joined is 3. I was doing 4 and 5. And this is up to you. This is your individual hand. If you're going to do it this way, whatever you want. And he does a straight across join. If you look down at number 4, see all those joins at the top of the thing, how he joins them? Well, this works if you do an E. Let's see if I can do this here. If you do an E, his E is done this way and then this way. And that's fine. And I mean, that's what I would do if I were doing regular letters. But when I'm writing handwriting, I tend to use a copperplate E. So I would come up and do that.
Can we see what Peggy's writing?
Is this Zoom?
Hang on. Bear with me just a second while I try to figure out how to zoom it. Well, okay, let's just do this. That better? No, not really.
Does it go down any further?
Sure.
Is that better, Maggie?
All I see is you. I don't see your work.
Okay, hang on a sec.
Okay.
Let me get back to here.
So this is an adjustment I made for me. Now, if you like the other one, you do it that way. My other complaint with his letters is the R. He does a typical italic R, and I find myself going,
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Maggie, can you see it now?
There you go.
Okay.
That page. Somehow we missed printing that one out.
There's some on the back page. And the other thing that you have to do is you have to practice and practice and practice to get comfortable with it. And this is just a piece of graph paper, half a sheet, and I practice and I used a pen I like. That's the other thing. Find a pen you like and stick with it. I'm very bad. I'll go buy pens and try them. And if I don't like them, they go in the drawer and I forget about them. You know, I broke down and bought a fountain pen because that's what I learned on. An old Schaefer pen with Schaefer Peacock blue ink, you know. But I love these things and it's for me, it works. Gel might work for you. A ballpoint might work for you. A pencil might work for you. You have to figure that out. And like I said, practice until you get comfortable. And his suggestions for doing this is at the bottom of the page. Use it as you will or not. The other hand that I have, I wanted to show you this too while I've got it. This is out of Annie Sacali's book. And this is just, there we go. Okay, if you'll notice at the top, this is a strict italic hand. And when she gets down to here, she starts joining it. And then down here, she adds her personality into it. So you can do it plain, you can do a little zhuzhing with it, whatever you want to do. It's your hand. One of the things to remember, though, is don't mess with your signature. If you do, then you're going to have to deal with the bank. You're going to have to deal with the government. You don't want to do that. So just leave your signature alone, however sloppy it is. Okay, so that's italic. Here's another one that came out of her book. She did it in pencil up here. She did a fine line here, and then she did it with a broad edge down here. But that makes a beautiful handwriting. The next thing I want to show you this was my father's.
Palmer method.
Palmer method, 1917, something like that. Look at that. I've even got one of the sheets he wrote, but it's the basic Palmer method. So I took it out of here and I gave you the examples and I gave you a written example that was in the book so you will know how they do the spacing and everything. And this is much faster than doing an italic. So if your hand is not good, go to this.
The Palmer method handwriting still available on Amazon.com.
Yeah, and here is my practice sheet on that. And I'm writing, this is graph paper. I'm writing at 1/8 of an inch with 1/8 of an inch ascender and descender. And that's a little short for my descenders. My descenders normally tend to be a little longer, but just for practice purposes. But anyway, okay, now let's go back to I've also given you several sheets with suggestions. This one's from Sheila Waters. This could be a handwriting. This could be a handwriting, a handwriting, a handwriting, a handwriting. So here's some opportunities. This is John Stevens. That's gorgeous. And that would make a lovely handwriting. And look at this thing. It's very simple, very short. Men's hands, tend to make a little bolder. Maybe this would work for a man. I don't know. But I gave you all sorts of examples to look at. Now let me go back to the beginning and we'll start with, where did I put it? My head weren't attached. There it is. All right. Looking at your handwriting, you have to ask, how does it look to you? Do you want to use it or not? If you spent time, could you improve it? And is it so bad that you need to discard it? And like I said, here are some things, other hands that you can look up on Google, and they're there. Now, I would like you to write the same line in whatever form, but do it slowly. Think about the entrance strokes to the letter, the exit strokes to the letter, the space between the letters. So in other words, yes. I'm going to just use the Palmer on this. I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. So slow down and write the same line again. Then ask yourself, is this an improvement over what I did or not? Then look at it when you're done. Are you writing at a slant or are you writing vertical? Where are you comfortable? An extreme slant, a slight slant, a vertical.
Jumps over a lazy dog. Is there an A in there somewhere? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, lazy. Did it improve by writing it slower? by paying attention to the letters. Okay. Now, what I recommend when you go home is that you take some quotes or something and practice writing. Start out doing 2 A's, 2 B's, 2 C's. Go through your alphabet. Pay attention to how the letters are made, and then write something. And then when you start writing, do a quotation, get a book out, copy some text, but take time and just practice. Now, I have been practicing strictly on the grid pad, but I got tired of it and I went over to Rhodia. And I also tried the Clairefontaine, but I like the Rhodia better for me.
It's so smooth.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the Clairefontaine. And I also lined up sheets. Let's see, can you see that, Maggie?
Yes.
I penciled them and I went through some of my old flyers where I had lessons and I pulled some things out just so that I'd have something to put under the sheet so I would be able to write straight. Different sizes, 1/8 of an inch, a 1/16, a 3/32, and so on. And the Palmer method was written, I believe, at a 1/16 of an inch is what they pressed for. And I thought, really? I mean, that's tiny. That's really, really tiny. Yeah, that's small. That's really small. So work through all your lowercase letters. When you've got them down and you're comfortable, then go to your caps and do the same thing. Not write out quick brown fox in caps, but just practice your caps. Here, you can see I practiced my caps here and work at them until you get comfortable with how they're working. And then start throwing in things that just appeal to you. This is your hand. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be strictly Palmer. It doesn't have to be strictly italic. It's your hand. You need to make it work for you. And I found that working slow at the beginning was good, and I was getting faster and faster. But Palmer is much faster than the italic hand because it just goes faster. Copperplate or Spencerian would be faster than the italic hand. So it just depends on what you're.
Not quite 16th of an inch.
Yeah. So now start working on your letters. Everybody do two of each letter, A's and the B's, and pay attention to how you're going into the stroke. Does a Q have an entrance stroke or not? Does a G have an entrance stroke or not? I generally have an entrance stroke on an A. Now I have been writing at an 1/8. An 1/8 of an inch may be too small for you. If it is, make it bigger. If it's too big, make it smaller. if you need something to write when you get done with that, try this. Can you read it? Is it big enough? Huh?
I said, there should be magnification on it, so I don't know where it is, but if you magnify it now, it's,
Sorry, yeah, just a second.
then you're gonna have to raise it,
That's exposure.
or you won't have the whole thing on it.
Keep that raised. No, I don't think it did. I think it said bring it up a little bit.
Yeah. That's a little bit bigger. Anybody need any help with anything they're doing?
Get my hand to work right,
Your hand is a lot.
doing this to me,
Yeah.
and Richard.
Yeah.
I learned the Palmer method.
This is nice.
I probably did too, but
This is it.
yeah,
From what I learned, I thought it was the Palmer method, but it has a lot of Spencerian leaning
to it, yeah,
They're
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
the same thing. They're
Basically
basically,
the
they're
same.
monoline hand.
yeah. The. Let's see.
Spencerian has a couple of broadening.
I don't ever remember a P, learning P like that. I don't ever remember coming up with that kind of half loop off the bottom. I remember just a straight line up, you know? But it's been so
I don't
long.
want F like that, a capital F like that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the F is,
No, I never, I see, like, I don't like that F. I would never use it.
Yeah.
The capital F came down, back up, through and down like.
But having said that, I saw an advertisement just recently that used that F. Yeah, I was surprised.
Hmm.
And I never liked the I either. Yeah,
Maynard Gosser had a, whole alphabet and training for their caps and lowercase.
right.
And some of that comes from this, and
Yeah,
supposedly DeSoto County Schools is teaching that, and I've yet to see one student using that method. Because most of it is still printed.
Yeah.
I don't know why you couldn't use that T and just put a little thing on it for the F.
yeah, that's what I would do, you know?
Basically, the F
That's what
I learned was
You
that.
still read like an F.
Yeah. But that, to me, that looks like a T. This looks like a T.
So my youngest daughter learned cursive in 1 year in school, but it was just, that was it. And then they just didn't care what they did after that. Whereas I think a lot of us, they introduced cursive in the third grade,
Right.
and then you never went back. You stayed with
You
cursive.
stayed with cursive.
Graded on it all the way through.
Oh, well, let's face it, all of our papers were handwritten in grade school. In high school, if you took typing, then you typed your papers. And nowadays, everybody's got a little laptop and they just type stuff.
Basically, the art of handwriting has gone down the tube, so to speak.
Mhm.
And
Recording.
where I am, I live across, well, I got intermediate and high school, some grade school, and found one in person, it was a boy. His lettering, take the letter R. The only difference between just a three lines and symmetry, the R had a slight downhill slant to the right. And the whole lettering, you had to stop and learn how
To do it,
read
yeah.
and write.
I'd forgotten that Z had a tail. The lowercase z has a tail.
Yeah. I don't remember making the Z like that in school. I really don't. I really don't. But I mean, there were so many different methods. And this, if you look at it, it really looks similar to Spencerian in the lowercase, except they didn't do they did loops instead of the spread tines on the pen. So now I know I did this C, but I didn't do that C.
I did it.
Oh, yeah, for cows.
No, I never did. Yeah.
George,
I don't remember. I did. I don't think I did put the shows there.
I started grade school in 1956. 56 and 57, we printed everything, pencil.
Yeah.
In 57, they gave us our first fountain pen and they taught us cursive.
Yeah.
And we used the fountain pen until the 8th grade, at which point they allowed us to use ballpoints.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, well, I remember.
cursive in the second grade with pencil. I can't remember when we got to use the pen.
They started
third
using
grade.
pencil.
It was third grade.
They
for
started
us.
cursive and pencil,
Yeah.
but they gave us
Third or
fountain
fourth.
pens right from there.
And there were no ballpoints when I was doing it. I mean, they
Well, 58, 59.
How many people are using that U in their upper blade and calligraphy these days?
I mean, the log.
Oh, that one I
Do
use. I use it.
Do you use it on
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I use both of them.
the cat?
Yeah, this one,
I love that.
here.
I like that cue too, but Suzanne Cunningham said one time in one of her things that a lot of people didn't recognize it as a cue anymore and had like requested her to use the other kind. Like
Yeah.
the O with the tail.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
Close the circle though.
yeah, we did, a lot of us made the loop down for the two bigger and the
Yeah.
tail made
Yeah.
the connection.
Yeah.
So it actually became sort of the more recognizable cue.
Oh,
Yeah, the nuns is the number.
the second grade.
It was a big deal to learn cursive. We were big kids then, you know. So. But the main thing that I'm telling you is you've got to slow down with whatever hand you choose to do. Take your time, pay attention to how you're making your letters, and practice for a while. And it will get faster as you go because you'll get more comfortable when you're doing them right. You know, you will go for spacing and make things work. Now, when I take notes, it's another story. I'm writing so fast that I lose everything.
Would you take shorthand?
No.
That'll ruin you.
So
I
they-
seriously thought about, you can learn it on the internet. And I seriously thought about doing it. I thought, no, I better not.
taking notes in college was
Yeah.
the detriment to my handwriting. In fact,
Right.
when I finished, I dug out my Palmer method again and relearned it.
Well, I always wrote my notes by hand. And then in college and in learning calligraphy and the workshops, I'd write them by hand. I'd go home and I'd type them into the computer and print them out because that way I learned twice,
Mm-hmm.
you know? It reinforced.
do it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you never learn anything while you're typing because you're combining two
Two
different.
Yeah. Well, I know, I pay attention to what I'm doing. I really
Pay
do.
attention to the typing, but you're not paying attention to the words.
No, I tend to look at my words and pay attention to them. And this is mindless. Yeah,
So I do
yeah, you have to pay attention.
review and.
Yeah.
Has anybody gone lately and bought the not grade school tablet for cursive and tried to do it?
No, I haven't.
Might be fun.
I did a little thing that came on the internet, And the lady that was doing this had us go out and buy those little school notebooks, the black covers with the line. And when we got home, she said, you take 2 pages and you tape them together. And then we worked because they bled through the one, but it would stop at the second one. Then you could flip it over and write on the other side. But you couldn't write on both sides of one sheet. You had to have 2 sheets in order to do it. So the quality of the paper has gone to the dogs.
Yeah, yes, we wrote on both sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Walmart specials.
But if you want to go back to a grade school notebook, that's basically a grade
Grade
school
school
notebook.
notebook. Yeah.
Side down and backwards, yeah.
And when I put in handwriting, cursive handwriting into Google, I had never heard of Danielian before. And it came up. And the Marion Richardson method, again, I had never heard of it. So there are a bunch of them out there. You just have to pick one that you like and that works for you.
Chameleon is what my kids learned.
Okay.
Or they did it in the city of Memphis a lot during the maybe early 90s. It's like a partial person.
Yeah.
I don't like the T or the F, and I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was like when I used to see it. Ooh,
Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to remember what they,
to be more around it.
what the caps or the lower caps?
Well, T and F, I just don't know.
The capital T could be, you could always do this one, that one.
It's that upside down V that doesn't seem to fit with the rest of it around it.
And the other one was the, well, no, that's an F. But you could do that.
T and F both are gonna. Yeah, that looks more like an.
And I have been using, this is totally off the wall, Norma. I've been using that as a cat.
Capital F?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so easy.
I don't know, it doesn't seem to read. I mean, write something with the capital F, write friendly or something that starts with a capital.
Press space, it's just.
That's my F.
Just a minute, Keith.
It actually does read.
Capital F.
Yeah.
That's the way I want
Let's
it.
see.
Yeah, Keith did this.
Oh, yeah, that's very simple.
Yeah.
Well.
But the rest of the letters are so rounded, like
Yeah.
all of them flourish on the top of the H and the N and the X and the
Yeah.
Y and all that, even the C. It's just.
Yeah, and my least favorite of all of them is the I. There's you trying to come up with something to do with an I. I mean, an I
And the J can be ornamental.
and then we've always got those. And I vaguely remember making it like this, but I never liked it.
That's what I have.
That's what I learned.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah, but the other thing to do in the eye is make it a narrower one and just cross over like that.
Yeah.
You learned your.
So, I mean, you just have to go home and you have to play with the letters. We're calligraphers. We're allowed to break rules.
I just, I was doing.
Yeah.
See, like if you did this T instead of that T instead of that T, to me that was better.
Yes.
I like that better, and I could then just cross it and make an F out of it.
Yeah, and I know sometimes on T's, I just do that.
Yeah.
That's all I do. I'm in a hurry and I don't think.
But if we're trying to dress it up some and make our handwriting.
Like fancier, yeah,
I don't like the stubby look of the.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't seem to fit.
The clean.
The whole idea to click.
Yeah.
and the P, that entrance stroke into the P looks, to me, it looks awkward.
Rounded, but it's not.
Mine is just, that's what I've always
Yeah,
done.
you don't. mind it.
I leave off the entrance stroke. The same on the R, I leave it off. It's just something extra.
Better than.
Oh, yeah, do that capital P, Peggy. Let me see how they.
They do it with an entrance stroke coming down and over. And for me, I just drop it off. I just leave the entrance stroke off.
Learned it with an entrance stroke, but it was halfway out.
Well,
So you're entry then down and looped it up.
you can also, if you're gonna do it,
Yeah.
the good old straight,
If you're trying to fancy it up, it
Yeah.
needs to have a little more flourish.
a little more pizzazz.
Sure.
And that's why if you're playing with this, as you practice, you'll, come up. If you have books at home that have got calligraphy alphabets in it, go through and look and see what they've got. That's one of the reasons I gave you those sheets. Yeah, it's not that, it's these. Because here are some, look at there's an F. Look at that F on elegance. Look at that P right there. Oh, and look at that Q. Oh, that's interesting. These they could be used, very easily. What is the I? They did a small loop at top on the I and a very flat one down below. So
The fonts are developed.
that's right.
Make a lot of money.
Yeah,
Opening
yeah,
fonts.
yeah. But this is your own personal font.
Yeah.
So,
Is that one on the bottom of font?
yes, it is. I wrote font. And this one here is also a font.
I can't even read it. What does it say?
Pasta Primavera a la avocados, California, grilled salmon. Ooh, that sounds good. California avocado and taco salad. So it's just simply a font.
It
And
resembles,
sometimes people send, like you were talking about your friend that you took two people to the side. And people will send me this from the store and one guy came in and I said, oh, I got your note. I said, but I had to quite figured out what you said.
my sister, who was a librarian, once sent a note to my mother when she was in assisted living. And my mother opened it and she's looking at it and she said, I can make out occasional words, but I can't read it. Can you read it? And I looked at it and I couldn't read it either. My sister came into town 2 weeks later and she couldn't read it.
That's bad. So, okay, are there any questions?
I need to think about that.
I hope this helps you a little bit. Give you some ideas on how to improve what you're doing. So, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We should all lobby for teaching cursive.
Yeah,
I hear they're taking. it out of school.
we did, Norma. The guild did, and they wouldn't